Welcome to DIY with Diamond Tech Co. Today we're going over a breast collar and there's a lot of information, so we're going to go really fast. If you see something that you need a little bit more information on, just let me know in the comments, I'll go back over it. Step 1 is picking your hardware. If you use metal rings, you want to make sure they're welded rings. You can also use those slotted chest plates. I'm using 2-inch rings for this project. We'll start by doing an 8-strand flat braid for both of our chest pieces. These will both be 15 inches from ring to ring, and we're going to measure out 4 strands at 60 inches. When we get to that 15-inch mark, we'll divide our strands into 2 groups of 4 and braid out like roughly 3 inches. Then we just want to look at our center ring and decide which side looks better to be the front. This is just going to help us with orientation through the rest of the breast collar. To attach this to our second ring, thread 1 group of strands through a small hole that's off center and only about ½ an inch away from where you divided those strands. We want this hole closer to the center to avoid stretching the outer strands of your braid, and we really only need those 2 tails braided long enough to get over the ring and back through. Like all of our other knots, we're going to be pulling a lot of slack out of this, so the braid on those tails is not super important. So go ahead and repeat that process for the second grouping, and then we can move into the knots. The 2 most common knots that you could use here would be an overhand knot and a crown knot. And I did both just to show you the overhand knots on the left, the crown knots on the right. The benefits of the overhand knot are that you have all of your cord in one nice group, so it's easier to burn, but it is a bit bulkier. The benefits of the crown knot are that it is small, it holds its shape well, and even with it being small, it'll stay in place. The difficult part about the crown knot is that you need to get it tight enough that it doesn't wiggle and move, so it can be very hard to get in here and actually burn the ends of it. So here's that overhand knot on the left and the crown knot on the right, and another benefit of the overhand knot is that you don't have to burn this one if you don't want to. As long as you're sucking down all your tension, it will stay perfect. So of course, what we do to one side, we must do to the other, so just go ahead and repeat that same process for your other chest piece. And if you did decide on an orientation, just try to keep that in mind while you're placing your rope. This side will again be 4 strands cut at 60 inches or 5 feet. And here's just a little close-up of how you would have to go about burning a crown knot. Next, we're going to move into our centerpiece that'll connect to our cinch. For this, I did a 4-strand flat braid that'll come out to 26 inches when it's finished. That'll be 2 strands cut at 90 inches each. You will need a Conway buckle for the end of this, and I do recommend some type of snap clip to make getting it on and off a lot easier. There is another clip in just a minute showing a little bit better how to finish a 4-strand flat braid like this, but basically you'll just finish it, burn the ends, and then you can put it on your Conway buckle and put your snap on, and then you're done with this piece. After this, we're going to move back up to our 2 tugs. Now, you can do both of the tugs the exact same way you did this centerpiece, but you'll want to shorten them down to around 15 inches. You can also do completely removable tugs, which is what I'm going to show you next. These are great if you like to mix and match your colors. For the removable ones, we're going to need about 26 inches, which is, again, 2 strands cut at 90 inches each. We need the removable ones to be long enough to double back on themselves, so you'll end up with about 13 inches of usable rope, which is normally more than enough for the average horse. These will also be 4-strand flat braids, so to start this, you'll take your 2 strands, find the center and clip it, and then you'll braid out like 2 to 3 crosses. Then you'll unclip it, pull out your slack, clip it again, braid out a couple more, and then unclip it, pull out your slack, and just repeat that until you have a good base. After you have the first 6 inches good and tight, you can just finish out braiding the rest of the 26 inches, and then here we'll go into a little bit better detail on how to finish that. Basically, you just take one of your center strands, fold it over the other center strand, and then pull out all your slack, cut it, and burn it. The tighter you can get the end of your braid, the better it's going to stay in the long run. And when you go to burn it, you're not trying to like light it on fire, you're just trying to melt it enough that it will stick to the other strands. All that's left now is to just repeat this for the second tug, and then you can attach your Conway buckles and your snaps. I use 1-inch Conway buckles and 1-inch snaps, and when you're looking for snaps, the 1 inch is going to be the measurement where the rope goes through, and then it's going to give you a length too. So I believe these are 4-inch by 1 inch. When you're buying Conway buckles, you want to make sure that that center point is long. There are a lot of cheap Conway buckles that have a shorter center point, which just doesn't hold up against the tension that you could be putting on your breast collar. Another option for starting your tugs is starting them directly from your Conway buckle. The only issue with this is that if your Conway buckle breaks, you have to completely rebraid a new tug. It is, however, a little bit easier to start than just doing it from the clip. And here is our final product. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to leave them in the comments. Don't forget to check us out on our socials and at diamondtechco.com.